if we're going for maximum awesome life, is it just as valuable to put meaning and ritual in work as it is home?
One thing that's funny is we actually use rituals to separate work from home. So if you think about, you have your work self, which is a certain version of yourself, and then you have your home self, which is usually not quite the same person. But we have a hard, especially with working from home, as so many people are, we have a hard time separating. How do you leave work behind if your office is 2 feet away from the kitchen table and your family's coming in for dinner
Right.
right after you finish work? How do we try to make sure that we keep work at work, and then we keep
Uh-huh.
family and home time separate from that? And you can do all kinds of things. For one thing, if you used to have a commute, you have sort of a natural break between the two. But what we see people doing actually is they turn to rituals. So they think, if I'm going to divide my day into these two different selves, how should I do it? And we've interviewed lots and lots of people and asked them, what do you do? And people have the most fascinating ways of trying to leave whatever emotion they had at work behind and bring themselves to, like, we did a project with emergency room nurses, for example, which I think is, I don't have the data, but surely one of the most stressful jobs in the history of the world. I mean,
Yeah.
that is a really tough, very long shifts, very unpredictable, tons of things go wrong. So the question is, if you're an emergency room nurse, how do you possibly do a 12-hour shift and then take 5 minutes and leave all of that behind and go home and be happy with your family? It's a really, really big ask for us emotionally, just as
Mm.
humans.
Yeah.
And what so many of these emergency room nurses say is, well, here's what I do in between work and home. One of my favorite ones, this nurse said, when they got home, they would take a shower, and they would visualize, as the shower washed, they would visualize the hospital washing off of them and going down the drain. There's another person who did
Mm.
something similar and also drank a beer in the shower, which is, if you're into that, you can try that as well.
Yeah.
But
There
like,
you go.
on the one hand, you think, you're not washing anything down the drain. I mean, and on the other hand, you can feel how for this person, it really does help them separate all the stress of work, allow them to decompress and unwind so that they can be home and enjoy their home life as well. So even aside from meaning at home and meaning at work, we also use them to divide those two from each other and make sure that we can be who we want to be in each of those occasions.